Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for Love and Marriage Huntsville. We ain't got time. We ain't got time to even try to dilly dally, so let's just go ahead and get into this foolishness. So the episode started where it left off last time, where Letitia called Marceau to see if he was inside of Black. He said that he was, and she asked him if he would come outside for a minute. He came outside and then quickly realized that she didn't want to just drop by and say, hey, see you for a few minutes and go on about your business. She wanted to have a in-depth, long conversation. So he had to get inside of the vehicle. So she brought to his attention that she had already talked with her mama, and her mama was like, look here, your husband is being accused of being out here in these streets cheating. There has been photographs circulating all across the internet of his back. If it is him, it's allegedly him in a hotel room with somebody laid up. And he talking about he went and you knew about it and you knew about the person and all this other stuff. And so as he's trying to talk, she's like, okay, who was the person? Who was the friend? He over here talking about, yes, I did make a post on social media saying that I went to Atlanta on this particular day. And I did. And I went and I met up with a friend. And the way he kept trying to say it, it just gave lies. It was giving lies. It was been giving lies since the first season for me. I've been telling y'all since I first started doing recap reviews on this show that once we found out that Martell was out here cheating, I was shocked. And I was like, of all of the men on this show, I just knew Marceau was out here cheating because it's painfully obvious how insecure Letitia is. And it is happening in part because she allows him to treat her the way that she's being treated. And then that does nothing but knock down pegs of what her self-esteem once was. Now, I know somebody gonna be like, well, your self-esteem, it has everything to do with you. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? It helps when there's somebody that's supposed to be in your corner rooting for you and not actually going up against you, where it looks like it's you against him and the world. Y'all supposed to be a team. So she in her feelings, trying to understand what's going on. He over here talking about the person he met up with was Chris Fletcher. Now, y'all know this man had been on this show before, and we usually see him with Bartell, and you know sometimes we see him with him as well. But why you had to go all around the world just to say that the friend that you met up with was Chris? I don't understand why he just wasn't like, babe, you know good and well I wasn't out here doing this, even though he was probably lying if he would have even came at her like this. All he had to say was, babe, look, I went to Atlanta last minute, late in the evening one day to meet up with Chris because we had a business opportunity. I don't understand what was so hard. I don't understand what was so hard if that actually was the truth, which I don't believe it is, why he couldn't just simply communicate that with her and say, hey, babe, I'm about to go to Atlanta. You want to ride with me? And, you know, you go do some shopping while I, hang out with Chris for a couple of hours to try to see about this business opportunity or whatever the reason was that he supposedly met up with Chris for. I'm not understanding why that was so hard. The way that he just said what he said to her, to me, it's really giving that he was cheating out here. And evidence is finally surfacing because a lot of people have been careful. I guess the money has been really good. And now he might be getting a little bit cheaper and sloppier. And so these heifers like, what you're not finna do is keep me behind this door and behind a veil. I'm going to start revealing some things because your wife out here sitting pretty thinking that she has this amazing marriage when she does not, because you out here thotting and bopping just like everybody has been suspecting for I don't know how many years. So she over here in her feelings and she start crying and she talking about she can't do this. Why don't people want her to be happy? And I'm like, girl, let me at least speak for me. I am not sitting up here hoping, praying, and wishing that your relationship is going to be trash and that he is cheating on you. I'm just saying that I'm observing his behavior. And his behavior is exactly like every single person I've ever met who was a cheater. And it just is what it is. He out here cheating, it is what it is. And he over here trying to make it seem like, well, that, an accusation, it's just got to the point where, I mean, whenever I'm questioned about stuff like that, especially with your mom or anybody, I'm just going to automatically just not say anything because accusations are presumed to be receipts nowadays. And I mean, to a certain extent, that is true. But it's like, girl, she over here trying to make it seem like, I just don't understand. We're a young couple. We're a young family. I don't understand why they don't want our family to thrive. And I'm like, girl, he out here not wanting y'all family to thrive because he out here spreading it. What is this? What is it? Spreading it low in this. What is Miss Evelyn said? Laying it low and spreading it wide. What they got to do with us? I'm not trying to hope, pray, and wish upon a terrible thing to go down in your marriage. That's not me. If it's a real situation, if he doing right by you, I'm here for it. You can tell by the way he treat her that he out here doing what he want to do, and he is feeding things to her for her to believe certain narratives, and it is what it is. So then anyway, he over here trying to act like he crying. He over here talking. I'm like, there was no tear, sir. There was no tear. She over here crying for real. He over here trying to act like he crying. He talking about F them people and all of this. And he was like, look, I don't want nobody. All I want is you. I don't want nothing in this world but you. And she was like, you got me. Girl, get that alimony and that child support. Hopefully you will be strong enough to walk away when the time is here and near. Because somebody going to bring a whole lot more stronger receipts to the table. Anyway, today is the day that Kimmy and Maurice is going to meet up with Martell. So that basically Kimmy can break the news to Martell that he is not invited to Jaylen's housewarming. Well, he come in there and he trying to dap him up and all this other stuff. And she looking at him like, look here. It is what it is. I don't want you to be there. You are associated with a whole lot of drama, no matter if that's what your intention is or not. He still feels some type of way because everybody is basically inviting her and considering her first. And he is just trying to understand, like, why y'all coming to me second? Like, why? But she was just like, y'all have so many situations. You have so much drama going on. And so he brought up the picture again. And he was like, I apologize for all of that. But myself, your husband, and his brother Marceau all laughed. And we all thought that picture was hilarious. And so she was like, that's the problem. Like, you do apologize quickly. But, I mean, I don't understand why he's not understanding that just because you apologize, that don't mean nothing. Essentially, if you're not changing the behavior. If you're not growing from it. But all you're doing is you laughing at this moment and then you say, oh, my bad, I'm sorry. And then another moment happens the exact same way and you laugh and act a fool behind that. Oh, I'm sorry. Like, it's a pattern of you just saying I'm sorry, but it's not you actually meaning it. So don't nobody have time for it. So she was just like, look here. This is a situation that I can control. So that is why I don't want you to be there. You know what I'm saying? She didn't say it harsh. Like, she said it in a nice way. But she was just like, I just don't want to have the possibility of some foolishness popping off. So if I can control the environment, then I'm going to do what I need to do in order to make sure that the same stuff that always go down don't happen. And we know that you and Melody are not supposed to be in the same room and all that other stuff because every time y'all do, it becomes very explosive. So we're respecting that and it just is what it is. But she wants to help him to understand this is how I feel. I don't want this foolishness. Because every time I look up, the stuff is always trickling over whether you want to believe it's happening or not because it's your mess. Yes, it's your mess, but it's inappropriate. It's a foolishness and I don't want to be associated with it. And I mean, I understand him feeling a certain type of way, but you need to just respect it, move on, deal with it. It is what it is. So hopefully he will and has sent Jaylen a housewarming gift because he is not invited. So anyway, we see Tiffany and I always want to say Madani. We see Tiffany and Destiny link up. She ended up going to a trampoline park because that's where her son-in-law was going to be playing and all that. And so Tiffany reached out, wanted to see what was going on, and she told her, she is available. They're forging a friendship, so, she was willing to go and meet up with her, especially since she was going to be able to see her son as well. So she got to meet him, I think, for the first time. And he's just playing around and all this other stuff. So she was like, okay, what's going on? Because all this stuff was going on. Stormy seemed fine until you agitated her. And so Destiny was like, were we both at the same place? Like, what are you talking about? And she was like, she wasn't quiet, because you're trying to make it seem like she was sitting there quiet and ain't say nothing. But, you know, they ended up doing, you know, playing that beautiful beam footage, played it back, and showed where Stormy indeed, as always, she keep coming out of nowhere asking questions. I don't like her on this show. I just don't. She really be stirring the pot. She be coming from out of nowhere. And as we've seen time and time again, people have settled their beef, have decided to put it to the side, start anew, whatever, and here she come, and she'll just kick up the dust again. And so she was just like, look, I didn't have an attitude with her, and I wasn't trying to, you know, mock her. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying the fact that I speak a certain type of way, she speak a certain type of way or whatever, but she felt like she was mocking her. And, you know, I feel like she was mocking her as well. I mean, it is what it is, because we've seen her go back and forth with other people, but she's never like, I mean, I guess because nobody has been on this cast that speaks like Stormy does, which is, to me, she sounds like Tiny. She sounds like a less congested Tiny, I guess you could say. I'm not trying to read, I'm just saying, I'm trying to do a correlation, but she doesn't speak like any of the other castmates. So, you know, she hasn't been able to, if she has mocked other people, it's just been doing exactly what they're doing, but not sounding like them or whatever, in their extremely Southern accents or whatever you want to say, mixed with hood, mixed with whatever they want to say. Because that is the terminology that was spoken, which was that was hood. Because she was like, I'm from the hood too. I speak hood too. So we're going to get into that later on. But now we're at the actual event, which is Jaylen's housewarming. And right now it's only Jalen, his mama, Kimmy, and Maurice. And they're talking. And he wants to know, like, what's all going on, because she's the one throwing it. So essentially, you know, he's trying to figure out who all she invited. And so, you know, basically everybody has been invited except for Martell. You know what I'm saying? I'm not understanding why she invited Wanda, because even Jalen, when he found out she was invited, was like, but why though? Why? You know this heifer is drama filled. And in my mind, I'm like, did production tell her to do this? Or was this Kimmy's way of trying to, I guess, show that she has moved past the drama with Wanda, because Wanda stay coming for her, and she was hopeful that she was going to actually behave herself in this setting. I don't know, but Wanda be on one all the time. Like, she's almost always in the middle of some drama and coming out of nowhere, and I'm just like, why would you invite him? So anyway, they talking, and then Destiny is the first one who arrives. But before all that, they were talking about something, some place or some space, some development or whatever, that Maurice comes up with these ideas of stuff he wants to create. Everybody on here always talking about, oh, I want another business, I want another business, and that's fine if you have the money to do so, which they do. Kimmy was like, you always have these visions, and I get pulled into the vision. Then I get comfortable with the idea that, okay, I'm in the vision, and then you see I'm in the vision now, and you're like, okay, so this is what I want to add to the vision. And it's like, it becomes bigger than life, and it's not stuff that she wanted. I think she said she wanted like tutoring and all this other stuff. He talking about restaurants or something like that. I don't know, other random stuff. But it is what it is. I guess they'll get more into detail about what it is, and what it's going to ultimately be if it actually comes to fruition, as the season progresses. So people are beginning to arrive. And like I said before, Destiny arrived. She had presents for everybody. And why are they going to sit up there and do a freeze frame on Jalen talking about he's the cougar slayer? I said, y'all got to stop. Martell ended up calling after mostly everybody arrived. And he basically, you know, said congratulations to Jalen on his accomplishments and all of that. And Jalen was like, I really do appreciate it, because y'all were the ones who kept pushing me and got me to this point. And I'm glad that he understands that, because they really did. Because he was sitting up here kind of like living high off the hog, so to speak. You could tell by the way that he would act before he graduated that it was kind of like, this is the way things have been, and I'm used to this type of situation, but I'm gonna do the bare minimum. Excuse me. I'm exhausted. Like, I am exhausted. I did the absolute most at work today. Almost, I'm gonna say 6.5 hours straight of exercising, pretty much. I did the absolute most today. So anyway, so excuse me if I yawn and all that stuff from time to time. In my voice, you already know the sleepiness is coming in because I'm supposed to be going to sleep sooner than later. So yeah. But yeah, he ended up saying, I'll talk to y'all later on, of course, because he is still cool with Maurice, and, the phone was on speakerphone, and, everybody is there at that point until later on, and then Melody arrives. Yeah, everybody was really bringing gifts. It was really nice. Stormy's husband was there as well. So I was like, oh, okay, I really just set it off. Because Tiffany and her husband was there. Stormy and her husband was there. Kimmy wanted to know if the two ladies, Stormy and Destiny, would, consider coming into another place in the house in order to talk. And, she asked them individually, and then they wanted to see. And, of course, they wanted to say, she wanted to tell them, like, to have a conversation with this person. And they both said they were cool with it. Well, when they got in the room, it went sideways when Destiny called her sweetie. And she was like, my name is not Sweetie. I'm not Sweetie. And all of this. And so Destiny was just like, you know what? This is not going to work, and got up and left. Went outside for a little while or whatever. So nobody knew if she really left, but she went outside for a little while. And so Stormy was left talking to Kimmy and explaining to her, like, there's a certain way that you talk to people, the demeanor and the tone or whatever. Tone is everything. She kept saying that, and Kimmy was like, I don't disagree with that, but I think she was trying to tell her that she didn't mean it like that, but Stormy was not trying to hear that. Some people, when they get that in their head, they ain't trying to really hear what you're saying. And I get exactly what Stormy is saying in this moment. This is one of the rare moments where I was like, I'm kind of on board with what you're saying, because I don't like when people call me sweetheart, and like I'm talking about when I know that I'm not cool with you like that, and you calling me sweetheart. And oh my gosh, this man, what did he call me? Oh my God, I forgot what this man called me. And I knew he was trying to try me in that moment. It took everything in me not to swing on him, because I'm like, I give you nothing but respect, but here you come trying to call me something out my name, but he's trying to make it seem like it's a term of endearment. And I was like, what we're not finna do is that. Like, if you don't get your old, dusty, raggedy behind on somewhere, breath smell like crack. Like, oh my gosh, his breath smelled like unwiped behind, explosive diarrhea, and some more. And I was just like, please leave me alone. Toe down to the ground. Leave me alone. I can't stand. I forgot if he called me fat mama or something. He said something. I forgot what it was. But he really said, he tried to make it seem like it was a term of endearment. But I was like, no, you trying to try me. And I was like, let me hush my mouth. Let me hush my mouth, because I don't want that side to ever really escape. Because if the G ever come out of me, like fully, like sometimes she kind of peek out and like, okay, what was said? Oh, okay, that's what I thought. I'm trying not to ever let her come out like that, because people really be trying to try me, and I just be like, I feel like I analyze, and I'm like, is this big enough? Is this big enough of a deal for me to go to jail behind? Is it? Is it big enough to pop the trunk on somebody over? And I really do try to ponder, like I really do try to think before I speak. And, before I act, I really do. Because people really be trying to try me. Like, there are a very select few people in life who have tried to try me. And it's like, you have no reason to do this. But anyway, y'all. But yeah, they was talking one-on-one. Eventually, it came from out of the back. Because some of the people didn't know they were there, because Melody came late. And Letitia and her husband came late. So it just is what it is. So it's very apparent that Melody and Letitia still aren't talking. Letitia came and was trying to create a conversation, and Marceau, I'm just like, Marceau, now you know good and well. He was like, yeah, so I guess y'all, the elephant in the room. And I was just like whatever he said, it was apparent that they aren't speaking. So it's like, yes, it's awkward. They are not going to be cool like that, or it's going to take a miracle or some more time spent away from one another to heal from what friendship they did have, whether it was real or not, for them to come back and be as one, to at least be cordial in a social setting. I'm the type of person that even if you trash, I can say what's up, hey, or something, even if I don't fool with you. You know what I'm saying? Because like I have friends that, before the pandemic, they would always want to go out to eat and whatever. And I knew that certain people were going to be there. Because like before it became a thing, I used to be like, who all going to be over there? Because I need to know who's going to be at the function. Because if it's too many people that I don't fool with like that, because I don't like how they are in real life, you're not finna be rubbing off on me. I don't even want that. I don't even want that energy in my space. I just don't. I really don't. But there would be like one or two people, and I'm just like, you messy. Like, you are really drama filled. And I'm glad that I don't work there anymore, or whatever the case might be, and I don't have to have any dealings with you, because I don't have time for the foolishness. Y'all, like I said earlier within this video, Wanda was invited, and so she came in, and she came in on 10 and was like, yeah, I got a problem with everybody in here, because everybody in here has something slick to say about my daughter, and because my daughter, I was like, ma'am, why you come in the door? Like, she said, hey to everybody, like, and then Kimmy was just like, okay, what is going on? Because after she made this announcement, she was like, I'm starting with you, Kimmy, because at the function, I heard you was talking about my baby and all this other stuff. And so she was like, my niece brought this information back to me and said that all y'all was talking about my daughter, and started naming all people. And so Kimmy was like, wait a minute, this is interesting. Did your niece never bring up the fact that she was the main one talking about your daughter and bringing up stuff? What are we talking about? Like, I'm just like, ma'am, you gotta stop. She didn't really want to hear that. She didn't care. She was like, look, anytime it's on site, if anybody has something to say, from now on, when y'all have functions, invite me. Especially if y'all gonna talk about my daughter, because I'm gonna nip it in the bud on site. I'm gonna tell you to your face. I'm gonna set it off in your face. And ain't gonna be no need to go back to my daughter, because I'm gonna resolve it right then and there. And I was just like, ma'am, you're doing too much. But anyway, that was the end of the episode, pretty much. Because this was some foolishness. Like, she really be doing the most. And I'm just like, why are you acting like a child? Like, this is something that people who are, high school, junior high, elementary, and all that do. You are way too old for this, ma'am. You are way too old. Your child should be able to fight her battles by now. Anyway, thank y'all for tuning in. Subscribe to my channel if you have not done so. Give this video a thumbs up, and let's talk about it down in the comments.